guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can see by the title below for today's video, I do have some updates for you guys about things that have just been going on in my life, and some of those updates are unfortunately sad, but I think it's time to talk about it. But before I get into the sad news, I do want to update you guys on my health, because in my last video that I made about my health, which was a couple videos back, I had a lot of people in the comments who were really wanting me to share more about my health, what I've been doing, and they also wanted to know how I've been and if I'm getting better, because apparently a lot of people are actually dealing with a lot of the same issues and symptoms that I had a few months back, and so they wanted to know what I was doing and things like that, so I wanted to film an update on that today. If you are not interested in the update on my health and how I'm doing and how things have been going in my life, feel free to skip this part and you can jump straight to the update on a couple of the pets that have unfortunately passed away, so you can skip to that if you are not interested in my health update. So before I go any further in this video, I do want to say that I am not a doctor. These are just things that I did for me. Anything I talk about that helped me or how I recovered and got rid of a lot of my symptoms and how I've been getting better, I'm not a doctor, so these are just things that I did. Obviously talk to your doctor if you trust them. Hopefully you do. That would be great. So a couple videos back, I told you guys that I have been struggling with my health mostly last year. I've been a lot better since January of this year, and so that's why I wanted to make this update video. So for anyone who didn't see that video, I'll link it on the corner of the screen above so you guys can go back and watch it if you're interested. But basically, last year, I came down with a really bad viral stomach bug of some sort that was unidentified, and it took me down. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that my immune system was just completely wiped out, basically. From, I guess, when I had the C word earlier that year. I had the C word in January of 2021, and I guess it just wiped my immune system worse than I ever thought, because about 10 months later, I came down with a really bad stomach virus, and it just wiped my body completely. I had all of my vitamin levels and everything tested, and my vitamin D was at like a 30, which is extremely low. It needs to be in the 50s at least, and to have any sort of an immune system, they said. I had no immune system to speak of. Like I said, my vitamin D was at like a 30, which is terrible. I won't go into all the details, but I had a whole host of terrible symptoms. The majority of them were fatigue. I had chest pain, tightness, shortness of breath, couldn't breathe. I had heart palpitations that were out of this world, the worst things I've ever experienced in my entire life. I ended up thinking I was having like a heart attack. I had to get a heart monitor, which I had to wear for over a month. I mean, I just went through it, and I explained way more detail in that last video, so that's why I'm not gonna dig deep into my symptoms in this video, but it was horrible. It was just basically a post-viral fatigue syndrome, to kind of sum it up. Basically, since that happened, which was in the end of September, actually, it was around September 25th. From then on, I've basically been on a battle to get better. And so I wanted to update you guys on how I'm doing now, because in the last video, I don't remember what percentage I said that I was. I want to say maybe I was like 75% better, 80% better in that video. I can't remember. I am actually 95% better. I'm reserving 5% because I still struggle with my energy level. That's kind of just been the one thing that isn't 100% back, and I think that's a lot of deconditioning, because I did so much bed rest. Oh my goodness. I just had so much bed rest that it's understandable that your energy is going to suffer, and it's going to take a while to get back into the groove of doing things. I'm no longer bedridden. I no longer have to lay in the bed anymore. I'm so happy with that. I'm still careful kind of about my energy exertion, but really not so much. Like, I'm basically back to doing everything I normally did. I'm able to completely take care of the chickens. I'm not having to rely on Patrick anymore, which is huge for me, because as the months were ticking by, I just was feeling like, I mean, awful. Like, I felt so bad for him, because he was truly taking such good care of me, and he's so wonderful, and he didn't mind doing it at all, because he's just very loving. But I was feeling horrible inside. Like, the guilt was eating me alive. I was like, I need to get out of this bed, you know? I was going crazy. But basically, I am doing so much better. I still kind of struggle with the heart palpitations, which were the last thing to leave, and I don't even know if they're all completely gone or if they'll never come back. I'm not noticing them anymore, so I'm not sure if I'm still having them, which I know it sounds kind of weird, because you notice it when you're having them every time you stand, when they're one after another and it's constant. You're having like 30, 40 a day. It wipes you out fatigue wise, and you just have to like sit down or lay down. I am taking a ton of vitamins, which I'll insert a picture of. I am not a doctor. I'm not recommending these vitamins to you. I'm not your physician. However, this is the vitamin regimen that I've been on for the past 4 or 5 months. I know that the vitamins are working for 2 reasons, which I'm gonna tell you really quickly. A few days after Christmas, my entire family came down with the C word. Most of them got it for the first time. Patrick and I had already had it, like I said, in January of 2021. So we already had antibodies to that. So, you know, we were feeling pretty good that we weren't gonna get very sick with any of the variants or whatever that were coming out. Well, my family had never had it before. So they all got really sick. They were all down for over 2 weeks. Patrick was so nervous that I was gonna get it because I obviously saw my family on Christmas, and he was so nervous because I was just getting better around Christmas time. I was just getting my energy back. He got so scared that I was going to get sick and be, you know, put right back at step 1 basically with my fatigue and heart palpitations and just the works, the horrible, no energy, just all of it. And he was so scared. And I guess because I had been on my vitamin regimen by Christmas, I had been on it since September. And so I didn't get sick. I was the only person out of my entire family who did not get sick at Christmas. And Patrick chalked it up to my vitamin regimen. I really think that me just overloading on vitamins, again, I'm not a doctor, but that's what I did. And I was the only person out of everyone at Christmas who didn't get sick. So at Christmas, I didn't get a single symptom. I felt fine. I was completely fine. And I'm so grateful that my antibodies and my vitamins kept me healthy, thank goodness. So I was able to just keep getting better and better, and I never regressed or went backwards at all, and I am so grateful. One thing I do also want to mention on top of that is this right here. So this is magnesium. I'm not a doctor and I'm not recommending this. However, I need to share this with you guys because this right here has been a game changer for me. The heart palpitations, that was something that I just could not shake, and they were not going away. Like I said, they were my last symptom to leave. The heart palpitations were definitely my biggest, worst, and longest lasting symptom, and I could not get rid of them until I started taking magnesium citrate. Now, I started taking this about 2 months ago. This was not in my vitamin regimen before Christmas. I didn't have this. I had actually tried 2 other magnesiums and they made me so sick. One of them like destroys your like digestion. And then I tried another magnesium that made me have anxiety attacks in the middle of the night. It was insane. But I was waking up in the middle of the night really, really jittery and anxious. And I don't even know why. That's not something that I do. And so I knew it was the magnesium because I gave it 3 nights. I tried it for 3 days, and each night it was getting progressively worse. I decided to give the magnesium one last go, and that is when I got the magnesium citrate. I got this off of Amazon. So about 2 months ago, I started taking this, and I actually take half of one instead of a whole one because they're horse pills. I mean, they're absolutely massive. They're really big. So I cut them in half, and I was taking a half of one about 2 months ago. And then sometime in the middle to end of January, I actually noticed that my heart palpitations were like getting down to like only 2 or 3 a day. And then I noticed they got down to like maybe 1 or 2 a day. And that was progressively going on for like a week or 2. And I was like, okay, this is crazy. And I did not think anything of it. I just thought, you know, I'm getting better. Like, this is amazing. I actually started slacking on the magnesium pills. I stopped taking them. I was feeling good. I was having hardly any, if at all, any heart palpitations. I was still taking all my other vitamins, but I slacked off on this one. I have these by my bed, and I have to remember to take the half of one right before I go to sleep at night. And I sometimes am just so tired. I crawl in the bed and I just pass out, and I forget to take one of these. Because I do take these right before bed, whereas all my other vitamins, I take them in the morning. So it was just getting kind of like harder to remember. And so I was like, maybe, I didn't even know if they were really doing anything, you know, like I didn't put anything together. So I didn't know it was helping my heart like I thought it would, but I didn't think about it. Within 2 weeks, my heart palpitations were back full-fledged. And I mean, like, I was getting nervous that I was rebounding. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling them like every hour. And I couldn't believe it because I literally went like 3 weeks, 3 solid weeks where I was feeling like 1 or 2 a day. It was crazy. And I mentioned it to Patrick, and he asked me, he was like, well, what have you done different? And I told him, I was like, I don't know. Like, I was like trying to think, like, what have I done? Have I been sick? What happened? I realized that I had stopped taking these. And so I decided to start taking them again to kind of do like an experiment to see if it would get the palpitations to go away again. And sure enough, after 1 week of taking these again, my heart palpitations are now gone again. I think I'm maybe having 1 a day, if like I haven't had one today, so like I can't even tell you if I will. It's amazing. I'm not even thinking about them anymore, and I don't feel them, and it's just, seriously, it's been unbelievable. And I'm not a doctor, not sponsored, but I'm just telling you, this has been the heart palpitation game changer for me. I can't believe it worked. I honestly didn't think anything was going to take them away because I had them for 5 months. You know, like when you have heart palpitations that bad for that long, you really kind of feel defeated about it. Right now, I am taking a quarter of one of these because like I said, they're really big. And so I'm trying to kind of down my dose. I freaking love these, and I'm not going to stop taking them for a while. So also I want to mention, I did have an echocardiogram on my heart, basically like a heart ultrasound, and he said that there's nothing wrong with my heart and it's functioning perfectly, and I was so relieved to hear that. I actually got that done about a week after I filmed that last video for you guys, so I don't have any inflammation, nothing like that, nothing. So the virus didn't mess with it, thank goodness. It just messed with my nervous system, which is what I had assumed, so that's also good news. So now on to the sad news. You guys can obviously tell I've been dreading talking about this because it's so upsetting and so sad, but I did unfortunately have 2 losses within the last 3 or so months, and I wanted to update you guys on that. Unfortunately, right before Christmas, I did lose Lemon, and I know you guys are gonna be just as heartbroken as I am. Nobody's more heartbroken than me, but I know you guys loved her as much as I did, and I did put off talking about it for quite a while. You guys know me, and you know my history with losing my pets. I kind of lose it mentally, and I just break down. And unfortunately, right when she passed away, I was having the throes of my fatigue and stuff. And if you guys remember, I told you in the last video, I couldn't cry. Like I was having a really hard time managing my energy, and crying or any overexertions of my nervous system, like my nervous system flaring up, would just completely wipe me and make me feel terrible. And so I kind of had to deal with it internally and just take time to like deal with it on my own instead of filming it, because I knew I would just break down and I would probably hyperventilate and lose my mind. So I didn't tell you guys for a while, and losing her was really, really hard. I love Lemon, loved her. I wish I could have her back. I wish I had her back. I loved her so much. Will say I saw it coming the night before she passed away. Every night, obviously every night, I go and check all my animals. I give them all food, water, spray them down, mist them, whatever they need. And I went in there to check on her and all the other animals the night before she passed away. She looked different to me. She was actually not in her hole. Lemon normally burrows in her eco-earth, and she would just kind of, only her head and eyes would like kind of peek out, you know? And she was actually laying on top of her substrate. So she just looked different to me, and I was kind of like, that's weird, you know? So I actually got in there and I got her out. There was something a little different with her. She physically looked perfect. She looked perfect. No impaction, nothing like that. There was actually a poopy laying beside her, so I knew she wasn't impacted. She had also eaten a couple days before, her worm, so I knew that she was eating. I knew she was okay, but I could tell there was something different about her just because of the way she was laying outside of the substrate and not in her little burrow. So what I actually did was I decided to soak her in some warm water, dechlorinated water, and I soaked her. She hopped around. I actually took some pictures of her just because it's not often that I ever touch her. Like, I don't touch Lemon, I never did. And so I had her out, so I took a couple pictures just because I was soaking her in some warm water. And then I put her back in her enclosure, and just to be like, I don't know, I just had this feeling like there was something wrong with her. So I did put a security camera on her, and I actually have the last video clip that I will ever have of her alive, which is so sad and so depressing. But I will insert that video clip. It's a short one, but basically I put the security camera on her, and sometime in the night she did pass away. And I'm really grateful that I kind of sensed it coming. I kind of saw it coming, even though when I was soaking her and, you know, taking pictures of her, she looked perfect. Like, you guys will see, she looked perfect. But unfortunately, there must have been just something with internal, or I'm assuming her old age, that took her from me, and it's really sad. Lemon was 5 years old, and I've not known anyone to have a Pac-Man frog as long as Lemon lived. I honestly don't know anyone who has a Pac-Man frog that lived to be 5. If you guys have a Pac-Man frog that lived to be older than 5, or you know anyone who has a really old Pac-Man frog, leave it in the comments down below. my friends and I told them about it when it happened, and they all were like, oh my gosh, you know, she lives so long, like, you know, you should feel really good about that. And I do. I'm really proud of how long she made it. I'm really proud of how long I had Lemon. I loved her. I wish I still had her. Oh God, I would keep that frog forever. I loved her so much. She was so beautiful and so bright, and she was such a good frog, you know. I just loved her. And yeah, my friends and I, we talk a lot about how, you know, unknown Pac-Man frog care is, and how no one's Pac-Man frogs make it very long, especially babies. They're very hard to keep alive. They're not super hardy when they're babies, and so a lot of people have a hard time getting Pac-Man frogs past 2 years. And so yeah, I'm really proud of how long she lived. The only reason I'm not sobbing is because I've had 3 months to think about it, and so that, you know, made it easier to talk about. That brings me to my second loss. So unfortunately, I did lose Bodie as well. I know it's like devastating because you guys are hearing both of these things for the first time, and I've had a little time to chew on it, you know, and so it is so heartbreaking. But I saw Bodie's coming as well. Unfortunately, in the last year, Bodie's actually been slowing down a lot, and I wasn't sure if I was seeing what I was seeing, you know what I mean? But I kind of sensed it coming because he was so old. Oh my goodness. Bodie was about 12 years old, guys. So I got him when he was 7, and I had him 5 years. So Bodie was at least 12, if not older. He was an adoption. You guys have probably seen that video. If not, I'll link it in the corner of the screen. But I could just tell he's been slowing down for quite a while. But I will say the last 6 months, it was getting progressively worse. And when I say worse, I just mean like, he used to be so fast, you know, like I could open the door to feed or spray him or mist him or give him water, and he could bite me quicker than I could get the door closed. Like, he literally was very aggressive. You know, Bodie Gator, he was so aggressive. And that's just how he always was. Well, it was getting to where I could open the door and feed and water him, and he would be on the glass or like watching me, and he couldn't attack me or fly at me or run across the screen or whatever quicker than I could get the door closed. He was just slowing down, and I could just tell. Like, it's hard to describe, but I just knew that he was slowing down, and I knew it was his age. I knew it was because he was still eating, climbing, you know, and stuff like that, but he wasn't darting anymore, you know. And then obviously the night that he passed away, I knew that he had been getting even slower and slower the past week, I would say. He actually kind of stopped eating a little bit. Like, he'd only been eating like half of the food in his bowl, and he used to eat all of it. And I noticed that his eating was kind of slowing down, and so I thought that was kind of weird. And so I went in there to feed and water him one night, and when I went in there, I noticed that he was just kind of laying there kind of listless, and obviously I picked him up and he bit me and he attacked me like normal. So I thought, you know, he's okay, but I could just tell like he wasn't feeling good or something was going on. I actually, you know, picked him up, I fed him, I hand fed him with like a rag wrapped around him, obviously, like I've done many times. He ate for me, he drank for me, and then, you know, I put him back in his enclosure, and then unfortunately the next morning he did pass away. So I lost Lemon right before Christmas about 3 months ago, and I lost Bodie about a little less than 2 weeks ago. I know it's so devastating and it's so hard and heartbreaking. Unfortunately, our animals can't live forever. We can't keep them forever. I wish we could, but that's just not life, and it's devastating. But I just felt like I wanted to tell you guys, and it was time. I wanted you guys to know what happened, and I am happy that I can say that I feel they lived their full lifespans. Bodie was 12, Lemon was 5. I don't know how long Pac-Man frogs can live, but she was the oldest Pac-Man frog I have ever seen, and I'm really proud of that. And I loved them with my whole heart, and that is just what it is. But I did get them cremated. There's a place in Nashville called Faithful Friends Pet Memorial Service, and I get my animals cremated there. I actually got Butter cremated there as well, so you can see all their names are listed here. Butter, Bodie, Lemon. But I got them all cremated, and I have them all in this really pretty little silk bag that they give you whenever you get their ashes back. And I did this with Moo as well. If you guys remember when Moo passed away, they cremated Moo for me. I do cremate all my animals because I just have this thing where I can't like, I don't like the idea of them being away from me, as in like in the yard or wherever, buried outside. I don't know, I can't do it. I just can't think of them being not in my home, you know? I don't know, it's really weird, but that's just me. But yeah, so I got them cremated, and I'm gonna get little urns for them, same way I did Moo, because I have Moo's ashes in a little urn, but I've got to buy them and find them, so that'll be a while. But, and I do apologize that it took me some time to like tell you guys, especially about Lemon, because Bodhi just passed away 2 weeks ago, but Lemon was right before Christmas. But with my chronic fatigue illness, and then my whole family, including Patrick, catching the C word right after Christmas, it was just like boom, boom, boom. I was going through so much, and it was just a hard time, you know? And I obviously was having issues where I couldn't cry, and my nervous system was all screwed up, so I had to like stay calm. And yeah, you guys understand. I just couldn't film. I could not film about that. This video is probably incredibly long. I'm gonna go, but thank you guys so much for watching. I am going to be filming some more videos today for you guys. So I think I'm going to do a fish tank clean, because the fish are due within the next day or two. They're due for a tank clean. They're doing great, by the way. So I'm going to be doing that video. That's going to be coming up probably after this one. And then, I don't know, I want to do a farm update. Not that there's a lot to update, but we did start our seeds for a garden. So I kind of want to do maybe a video about the garden we're going to be doing this year outside. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even with the sad news, but I hope you enjoyed watching regardless. And thank you guys for being so amazing and supportive and loving Lemon and Bodhi as much as I did. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in my next video. Be kind. Bye.